Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Blood, Sweat, and Fears podcast. I am joined once again by my beautiful co-host, Ken from the Barbie movie. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. I have vowed to myself that I'm not going to mention the human centipede. Ah, fuck.
You fucking done it. You know. I mentioned this in the last episode, but I love that I'm clearly becoming an influence on you, Alan.
That last episode that we definitely didn't just finish 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And joining us today, we have an incredible guest. He's the host of the Straight White Whale podcast. You know him for his Bobby from Scot Squad and for doing the Funny Bunch around. He's got a new venue. We'll figure that out later. But please welcome to the show, Mr. Darren Connell.
Yay.
Thank you very much for having us, guys. I feel like I should have blonde hair. Kinda.
You would suit it, I reckon, actually.
Thank you very much. You're looking very cool, I must say.
Yeah, I'm going for like the Kurt Cobain. You're going for the Ken. I suppose you would be the Ken as well, actually. You've got similar hair.
Yeah, I'm like Ken's uncle.
Ben.
I've just done 30 years and I'm out and I'm hungry. That's get really fucking dark there, isn't it? Sorry.
And your nephew's a spider-themed superhero.
I'm like Pennywise. I come every 30 years.
Well, I'm really chuffed to have you on because anytime we've mentioned like getting guests for the show, your names always come up. Like we know you're like a big movie fan, a big horror guy. So when you sent me the options for what movie you wanted to do, I did not expect this to come up, which is why I've chosen it. Killer Klowns from Outer Space. It's exactly what it sounds like. So just a bit more of that. Where did you like sort of get the love for this kind of movie?
So what kind of film did you think I was going to send you?
I would, you know what? I was honestly expecting something, because I know you're a big horror fan. I was expecting something along the lines of like, I don't know, The Exorcist or like one of the classics or something like that. But you sent me like, I think it was this, the Tim Curry It and It Follows. I'm like, these are all not what I expected, and I fucking love it.
Well, I would say I watched it for the first time during lockdown, where for the first year of lockdown, I was like, I'm going to watch one movie a day, and I'll try to go down the kind of list of movies that I've never seen. I mean, I'll watch a movie every day anyway. I don't even know why I said lockdown. But Killer Klowns from Outer Space was always a film that I seen on these lists of like, you know, much loved kind of retro horror classics. And I remember watching it for the first time during lockdown. And, you know, everyone says they've got a guilty pleasure or it's a shit movie that everybody loves. I did not think it was shit.
Nah,
I really enjoyed it.
Surprised me. I thought this was really good. Like the pace is just constant and it's constantly funny and there's something interesting happening. I expected it to be shite. No offense.
Yeah.
I was expecting like a sort of like... you know, like those movies from the 50s and the 60s where it's like Attack of the 50-Foot Cheerleader or something like that. I was expecting something along the line of that. And it is that. Like, it knows exactly what it is. It's complete bonkers, batshit fun. But like the practical effects, the way the story's structured, like, and it being genuinely funny, like, it was a nice big surprise. Like, and I looked into this, like, I expected this to be like a franchise. There have been no sequels to this. There's been talks of a remake and like a TV series, but I just know if they did that, they would make it wouldn't be rubber suits. It would be something like how Pennywise looks in like the new It or something like that, and it would kind of lose something that it has. This is a movie I think it could only have come out in like the late 80s.
I totally forgot to look into it, but I think there's a video game as well. It was listed on the Microsoft Store, but it was like not available.
Is it like one of those SENS kind of
games?
games?
There was no pictures of it.
Yeah. I seen that it might still be coming out, and the budget was 1.8 million, and it got 43 million in the box office. So that is a stone cold classic, and it was a bunch of brothers that made it as well. I never knew that, and they were all like they've had cool lives. They're all puppeteers. They all worked on what's that South Park one called again? Team America.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Place,
So they've had a pretty cool career.
Because like I know the 80s was like quite big for that kind of like sort of puppeteering stuff. You know, you get the Jim Henson was like kind of the big guy around then. It's like to take that into a horror place is like something that I miss from modern day horror. I miss the use of like a lot of animatronics and like puppetry and stuff like
Were the
that.
clowns in this all puppets?
No, I think they're just guys in rubber suits, but there could be some shots where it's like animatronics. So like the big fucking clown at the end is definitely an animatronic.
Yeah. Because that's what happened with Team America, some of that stuff. So it's like old school kind of Night Before, like, what is it, Nightmare Before Christmas and stuff? Like
yeah, that stop motion kind of thing.
Yeah. Imagine watching it full of acid.
It's definitely one of those things where I felt like like how you can watch Donnie Darko completely sober and it makes you feel like you're high. I imagine this would be a similar thing. But I was watching this yesterday and my mum walks into the living room and she thought, have you fucking taken something? Like, what's...
Yeah.
So like the opening of it, have you guys ever played this video game actually called Destroy All Humans?
A wee bit.
It straight up reminded me of the tone of that. Like the whole, there's a big bug-eyed alien and this very obvious kind of Texan farmer guy looking around. Like, and of course, like he's going to end up being the first victim. But shout out to the dog. It's the first dog death on one of our episodes.
Or is it? Because they just take it. We don't see it dying. And there is also the balloon dog.
I'm pretty sure that gets ripped up, doesn't it?
It does, poor wee bastard.
Yeah. Like first dog death on Blood, Sweat and Fear is like I didn't expect it to come this soon. Did not expect it in this movie, to be honest. Like I don't know how you feel like those. Like I'm a big horror fan, but like those kind of things do kind of like it's got like a different kind of upsetting factor to it. Like it's one of those where I'll see something like that and I'll immediately go and hug my dog.
Well, Rose McGowan died in Scream and Sean thought she was a dog.
Oh man, but it's like so the design of the clowns themselves, like it's a weird kind of like sort of funhouse element to them that I really fucking like.
That's all right. Do you have a favorite clown
of the clowns?
Yeah.
I like the one that punched the guy's head off.
That's my favorite one as well.
Yeah.
I imagine they must have had a little person in that costume.
Must have been, yeah. Like, and is this before or after Jason Takes Manhattan? Because that's a very similar death.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I think I was like mid-80s, so it's probably around the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I know we're not doing the favorite kill yet, but that was one of my favorite ones.
Oh, definitely.
This is like I always write down the deaths in the films, and this is by far the longest one that I've had. Like, just because there's so many fucking deaths in it, but so many of them are quite generic, where they're just kind of like, killed with like a ray and turned into like cotton candy. But
yeah, the cotton candy was a weird choice. Like, I mean, I don't buy it anyway because it's disgusting, but like the idea of like taking that sort of circus thing and turning it into something horrific, it's pretty nightmarish. Like, Darren, did you enjoy the circus when you were young?
Do you know, I actually had a genuine fear of clowns when I was younger, and it was because I watched It, the TV series, and it just haunted my dreams for years. And but the fear of clowns has kind of left me. And even if I was scared, I don't think I would be scared of the clowns in Killer Klowns.
No.
But when I was a child, I used to close my eyes at night and see Pennywise in my dreams, because my brother shouted me into the room once and he's like, watch 5 minutes of this. And it fucked up my entire childhood.
Was it the sewer scene where it's like you cut to that like sort of freeze frame of him looking up in the darkness?
It was the book. See, when he walks into the room and the book opens and his wee brother winks.
Oh, that's fucking creepy. Yeah, I've not seen the 90s It in ages, but like I remember that, like it did freak me out in a different way because like I'm a big Stephen King fan, so I do prefer the Bill Skarsgård Pennywise because it's more like a monster, whereas Tim Curry's more like a human kind of clown. But they're both equally scary in their own way, I guess. Like, do you find the clowns in this scary at all? Like,
no.
They've got a similar hairstyle to you, though, Alan. Not gonna.
You're the one to fucking talk. I mean, no, I didn't find them scary. I found them oddly lovable, actually.
Yeah, there's also a character in this that you do not find lovable. They got this guy from like fucking Dirty Harry or something. The fucking main officer in it is the biggest dick I have ever seen in any horror film. And that includes fucking Stu Macher and Billy from Scream as well. Like, they're lovable rogues compared to this guy.
John Vernon.
Is that's the actor's name? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A great voice.
Mm-hmm. But fucking awful human being as a character.
Yeah. But your typical kind of B-side actor guy that sounds like, I think his voice would be great in like a soda pop commercial or something. Like,
I thought they killed him off too early. Spectacular death though.
Oh yeah, when the clown's like using him as like a fucking puppet.
Yeah.
It's really fucking cool. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Have you ever seen it before?
No, that's the first time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it came out in 1989. Were you born then?
No, I'm a 96 kid.
1996?
Mhm.
Oh, fuck, man.
Do I look older or
Yes.
younger? Like,
It's just, I was,
So how old were you when you watched it?
for the first time,
You said you were
locked out. I was born in 87, but yeah. In 96, man, I had a job then. I had a mortgage and everything. No, I was sitting watching it in 96. Fucked.
on your paper round, like.
Did you watch a lot of horror films as a kid?
I've always loved movies when I was a kid as well, and I think I kind of watching it kind of made me stay away from horror. But then as I was getting older, like 10, 11, 12, I started watching Predator, Alien, and that got me back into to horror.
Did you find it like... Because I remember I was the same. My mum would sleep and I would watch it on TV. Like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 was one of the first ones I saw. That kind of puppet. Have you seen it?
Yes.
That puppet scene where he pulls like his tendons out and he's using it as a puppet. Yeah, that one terrified me, but like I found that made me want to kind of keep going back. And I'm kind of glad that I did, even though it did keep me awake a lot of the time, because just being a kid with a shitty CRT TV watching horror, there was something just so unreal about it that I can't get scared like that by films anymore.
Yeah.
For me, it was Jaws. Like I watched that when I was 8, and my parents I would take movies like super seriously, so we would go swimming a lot, and I'd be constantly like grabbing people like on rafts, like trying to get them out, yelling shark. Didn't let me come back to the swimming pools after that, but like. It's one of those things where it's like horror films, like if you watch them too young, they do have that kind of like long-standing effect on you. Like, you got over like your fear of clowns and stuff like that. Was there any like other horror that you watched around that time like that did stick with you?
I can't believe I forgot about Nightmare on Elm Street because that was another one that scared us. Like I was scared to go to sleep and stuff. But I remember that one well. The guy's name was Joey. Remember the nurse? She was like, "Do you like my body, Joey?" That was the first time I ever seen.
That's
a
Lawrence
naked...
Fishburne, isn't it?
What?
Is that Lawrence Fishburne?
The Sexy Nurse?
I know he's in Nightmare on Elm Street 3, isn't he?
He never get his tits out though.
Remember all the wasps.
I remember being 11 and seeing that the nurse take her top off, and I was like, "Pause." I forgot what you asked me there. What did you ask me?
Oh, what was was there any horror that stuck with you when you were younger that was outside of clowns and that?
Yes. Do you know, the name escapes me, actually. Is your knowledge of movies pretty good?
His is.
Yeah.
So it's about a poltergeist that essentially sexually abuses a woman. I think it's called The Entity, maybe.
Oof.
I think I know of something like this. Like it's either that or does it have Sam Neill in it by any chance?
Do you know what? I think I could maybe find it on my phone.
I think there's a movie like that, but it's called Possession, and it's like playing with that kind of idea. I don't know of something just called The Entity though. Like that escapes me.
I think it is called The Entity, and there's a massive. The actress in it is outstanding, but it was one of those ones. I was just flicking through the channels one night, and she was in the bath, and it just right into your brain. It just haunts you. There was like a crucifix on the wall, and then the bathroom door shuts, and yeah, that was pretty freaky. Watching somebody get shagged off a ghost when I was free. Like, no wonder I'm a comedian and I'm fucked.
I'm glad that my first ghost movie experience was Casper. Like,
I'm curious how that would work on screen. Do you just see like the hole opening and shutting by itself?
I don't know, like
oh, that's awful wide. That's got to be a ghost fist.
it'd probably just be like they film it to look sort of like it's see-through or something like that. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, but
It is called The Entity.
There you go.
That's something that I'm going to get on the list then.
And cracking shagging scenes in it.
I'm just going to throw this out there. Any between guys?
Are
Because we're both gay, so like,
really?
What?
yeah.
you gay?
I had no idea.
There's ghost cock in it.
Yes.
There you go.
Hashtag ghost cock.
I've had lots of ghosts on Grindr.
Fucking hell, Alan.
One of them only showed me his torso, then disappeared. I called him the ugly headless prick.
I love hearing your Grindr stories.
Thanks. So you found it?
Yes. Let's all watch it together and then have a fucking orgy. Fuck it.
Ghost wank.
Yeah, like
I'd be the only person that would scare away the ghost. I'd be like, please don't shag me. The ghost is like, fuck this, man.
But what if the ghost is like really into that? Like, you're a handsome guy, Darren. Like,
Thank you very much. Flattered. Shut that door, Paul. It locks for the outside.
I have no prepared. We might have to rename it the Brown Room.
completely forgotten where we were in the movie now. I think I was going to mention the fucking besides the other officer, there's a sexy police officer, Mr. Blonde police officer. I don't know what his actual name is, but he exists to just be the sexy blonde police officer.
Yeah, I remember that handcuffing scene.
Of course you fucking
was-
do. Jesus Christ.
Lots of gay vibes in horror movies, man.
Well, yeah, this is a thing. Like, obviously not for all horror fans, because like Darren, you're living proof of that. But like a lot of people that I think grow up with horror turn out to be gay, and there is a big gay energy, especially in a lot of like
wonder why.
90s and 80s horror stuff.
Why?
I don't know why, because like I've seen people like draw comparisons between like the final girl experience and like a queer experience, and it'll be stuff like, oh, the monster's always coming to get them, but like eventually you, because you're aware of that, like you end up defeating the monster. Like there's a lot of like smarter people who have written essays and stuff and like on that. I'm not the person to talk about it, but I don't know, it could be a reason why I was drawn to horror.
Maybe. All the hot men. What do you
There's
think?
a
Has
lot of
horror
hot-
ever made you want to get with a guy, Darren?
Well, I have had a wank to Freddy Krueger, and it wasn't the time that I paused the TV.
Was it Robert Englund or Jackie Earl Haley?
England,
All right, good.
yeah. So
Leslie Dean.
I think I've probably had gay experiences in my life. With it was flaccid as well. I don't know why but I still wanked. You know what I mean? I'm not digging myself in a hole. I'm just telling you the experience that I had a flaccid wank to Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger.
If you want extra authenticity, you could put like some bacon in a sock so it feels like you're fucking. I should take that on Dragons then.
Yeah, what a
Freddy
big...
Krueger flashlight.
I mean, they need to fucking re-energize the interest in that IP and get a new movie out. So, yeah, it could be the way.
Great.
Yeah, just the trailers, just someday like having.
It's just like that scene with Nancy with the fucking glove coming up, but it's the flashlight.
Oh. Or just one of those big rubber fists.
Oh Jesus!
There's one called the Belladonna Bitch Fist. There you go.
Wow.
You've learned something today.
Yeah, every day's a school day.
So, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yes,
Spelt with a K because this is in the Mortal Kombat universe.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I would actually. They brought a lot of horror characters into Mortal Kombat. Bring the Killer Clowns into it. Like, you had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Fucking get the whole gang of clowns in there.
I'd quite like to see the fatalities.
It would just, they'd all be popping the nose. That'd be the fatality. Like, that's the weirdest way I've seen to kill a horror monster, by popping its nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty smart, actually. I quite like that.
See, because I don't know what it's like. Is that a reference to clowns or something? Like, it
Oh, yeah,
it
they
just
all have big
confused
red
me.
noses, don't
I know
they?
why they have big red noses, but it just confused me as like, that's the way you kill them. Like, that would make it a much shorter movie.
Yeah.
Did he have a big red nose?
Must have done,
I've
yeah.
not seen it in a while.
I think he had a red nose, but it wasn't like a fake cartoonish red one.
Oh, okay. Not like comic relief.
Yeah.
Red nose day.
Yeah, the clown that looks like Ronald McDonald. I can't remember it. I don't know if they have names for the other clowns, but like the big. It seemed like it was the leader, or something. It going into no, not at the end. Like the leader, like who's going outside. Like the I think it's like the first one you see.
Okay.
And like it's something about practical effects that I just find a lot scarier, because if that had been like done by CGI or mocap, you can sort of, I think the human brain has a way of telling when something's not there. It's like, it's why you could never do like another Jaws movie nowadays, because a CGI shark is not going to be as frightening as like a big, as much as people say the shark in Jaws looks fake, it being there and being a physical present makes it more frightening than if it was a CGI thing.
Yeah.
It's like but just like with the ray guns and stuff like that, taking that, which is something that is normally really silly, and turning it into something scary. And like, I've found circuses scary anyway. Like circuses are fucking terrifying. So managing to take that and morph it with this sort of B movie thing, it's really, really effective.
The guns look like something called an ovipositor.
Oh, which
is something that women can use to plant eggs inside themselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you want to write the sequel for this, Alan?
Maybe.
Or you know how like serial killers love horror movies before they commit a crime?
Yeah.
Me? Oh, okay.
Do you know what part I found quite scary? I know it's just a child, so her acting wasn't that good. But see, when the small girl was sitting in the restaurant the clown was outside and the clown was waving and she was waving back at the clown, I found that quite freaky.
Aye, that is one of the more creepier ones. That's like Georgie and It kind of level, kind of creepy.
No, I don't know. That wee lassie was scary. I was kind of like, I just get her outside.
Just eat her.
No, Georgie was cute and wholesome, and she was just like, get to fuck.
Nah.
She wasn't eating her burger. Shut up.
No, it could have been burger could have been cold. Let's not criticize the wee lassie. There's could have been pickles in it. Like, kid, you ever try to get a kid to eat a pickle in a hamburger? It's fucking hard. My little cousin gives me grief for it every fucking time.
I wonder what she's up to now, because she's probably 46 or something.
Oh, yeah.
This is probably her claim to fame. Or we find out that she's like Sharon Stone.
Well, I did actually find this is it's not related to this, but it's a similar scene. You know the wee girl at the beginning of the Tim Curry It? Found out recently, like, and we will cover this later on once we get like Kyle back in. You know the lassies in Final Destination 3 who get burned in the tanning bed? It's the same girl.
Oh wow!
From this?
No, from It. Yeah, but it's a similar
okay, yeah.
thing. Like, this is, I'm autistic. This is where my mind fucking goes.
Yeah,
like it's a fucking scatterbrain.
No, that's all right. You've got autism?
Yes.
Awesome. I don't know why I said awesome. It's a good thing.
Awesome. I was assessed for autism, but they told me I had too many pals and I was too friendly. It's like, and I wrote like 4 pages of like fucked up stuff that I've done, and they're just like, no, you're just a bit of a weirdo. So, thanks for that, Glasgow autism team.
I reckon like 90% of the Scottish comedy scene has autism, ADD, or some kind of neurodiverse thing.
Yeah.
Like the 10% that don't have it are in England. Like,
aye. Yeah.
I went on an assessment for ADHD, but I think they misplaced my fucking papers, which is very fitting for an ADHD assessment team.
So, go on, yeah.
No, I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say Killer Clowns for Outer Space. It's a film.
Oh, one of my like favorite deaths in this, and it's a death that I've seen a lot of horror movies, guys. I have never seen one where it's death by pie. That was...
I mean, that's some way to go, man.
Yeah.
Cream pie to death.
How did I know you were going to take it that way? It's just like, and the guy's reaction to it, like right before, is like, "What are you going to do with those pies?"
Yeah. I think the cheesy, kind of borderline shitty acting made it really fun as well.
Well, yeah, it's like, could you imagine an elevated horror version of this movie? Like,
yeah.
It's shot by like Jordan Peele or something.
Do you know, that would be an amazing, if he remade that, I think it would be incredible.
Well, this film's very progressive already because like a black character shows up after white people have already died. Ahead of its time.
Aye.
Does the black character die? I can't remember.
No.
Okay,
his
good.
friend gets his head punched off by a midget. I mean, little person.
Do you want to say that again?
Midget.
No. Fuck it, we'll keep that in. It's so Darren, where would you, in terms of like the kind of horror you enjoy, where does this kind of sit for you? Like, is it just something you'd put on for like a sort of Saturday night, or is like something you'd see as like a genuinely good piece of like horror filmmaking?
I think if it was on a list of top 100, I think it would be in there. Scary, I don't know if it's scary. And it's not kind of on my first recommendation. I love things like is it called Hereditary?
Yeah.
Like, that's my type of stuff. Genuine scary.
A head gets punched off in that as well. So
Yes. Yes. Very, very scary stuff. There's a great film. I can't remember what it's called. Story of my fucking life. It's about a cult as well. I'll try and find it when yous are talking.
Alright.
I like that type of stuff. But I like it visually. Like, I don't know what the term is, but see when you watch... Like, see when the farmer was walking towards the circus, I think the colour of it was stunning.
Aye.
There's something about it that is not in modern day cinema anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's got to do with the puppetry or whatever it is, but it's just visually like really nice to look at. I love the colours. Like Mandy, have you ever seen Mandy?
Yeah, that's
Like,
fucking great.
Mental film, and sometimes I don't enjoy it if I'm not in the right headspace. But visually, I just love the colours of it and like all that stuff. So that's why I really enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing with like, have you seen Suspiria?
Yes.
Yeah, the color of that being like sort of a demented like Disney movie. People underestimate like the use of colors in horror. Like I don't see it quite a lot because often they're working on like the pure black lighting and the like shadows and things like that. When you add color to a horror film and it works, it's way more memorable. Like,
The inside of the tent looked fucking fantastic.
a lot of that candy floss and the popcorn.
Yeah.
I've never seen popcorn move in a horror film either. That is
I thought it was going to be that they turned the people into popcorn. I didn't think that it was going to be they were alien babies.
no, because they turn the people into candy floss, don't they?
Yeah, they turn the people into candy floss and then drink them through silly straws.
Yeah, it's like this is like sort of like it's like a child's worst nightmare. This kind of thing, like it's it's the McDonald's playpen like from hell, essentially.
Wasn't there something about apparently Ronald McDonald House was killing kids?
I'm sure that's a thing somewhere. Like it's probably a creepypasta or like a conspiracy theory or something.
I hope it's true. So did you find it?
No, I'm like pure into you talking about Ronald McDonald eating babies. I'm like, I'd watch that film.
I don't know if it was always. I had a massive McDonald's before we recorded the Tusk episode, and I was so sick, and I was like trying to make it not obvious.
Well, yeah, because like when we were talking about the subject matter of Tusk, you did look like you wanted to heave.
That's true. Mr. Waters.
What did you get from McDonald's that made you feel sick?
Too much. Far too much.
Did you eat the toy?
I did not eat the toy.
Do they still sell toys at McDonald's?
Not the kind I enjoy.
What?
That was a dildo joke.
I not that I would go and get them, but I haven't seen toys at McDonald's in years.
I think they do. They also used to sell these like little spoons you could use to like stir your coffee with, but people started doing cocaine off them, so they stopped doing them.
The fact that McDonald's has coffee irritates me. Who the fuck's going to McDonald's for coffee?
Do you drink coffee?
I do, yeah, but not from McDonald's.
Have you ever had a coffee from McDonald's?
No, I'm a Nescafe guy.
You'll change, I guarantee you'll change that opinion after you have a coffee from McDonald's.
We'll find this out in the next episode. We'll see if Darren's changed my life. We're just going to bring in a fucking coffee from McDonald's the next time we record.
I can't multitask. I'm trying to find that movie and talk to you. I can't.
The
find
Village?
It. Not The Village.
No.
It's a horror film about a cult.
Is it Midsommar? Because he's the same guy that
No,
does Hereditary.
it's not popular. It's quite niche. It's about a guy that's an after dinner speaker, and this kind of religion goes to to watch him do a show, and
Is he stealing a lot of jokes from Circuit? Acts like it does here.
oh, is that a wee dig?
Oh, no. It's just something I saw on the Scottish Comedy Forum a while ago that I thought was hilarious.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a specific comedian who
No,
steals a lot
apparently.
of jokes from
Oh,
pro
no,
performers.
fuck it. I'll name him. I think his name was like Bill Copeland or some shit. Some after dinner speaker who was apparently taking a lot of like big jokes from like CMB and Nelson
Yeah,
and
I
all
think
that.
he's a football guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure he is.
How could you, Bill?
And these are people who are like making like 10 grand and stuff off these after dinner speaking
Yeah.
roles. It's like, fucking scum.
Wow.
Man. They're never coming on this podcast.
No.
To be fair, I don't think you would need to. But yeah, fuck you. What a dick.
Nah, we only get fucking good guests on this.
Thank you very much. I mean, it is going to cost you a lot of money, but I still appreciate it.
How about a McDonald's coffee?
Yes, deal. And let's eat McDonald's toys together after an orgy. After you watch a ghost shag me.
Oh, Dad?
Jesus Christ. Oh man, like it's the sort of setup with this as well.
I love
is
how you're
something-
just moving on for that.
This is what I do on
That's
the podcast.
very, very impressive.
They call him Deed No Time for Incest Burn.
It's like I've had like 6 years experience in doing podcasting. I'm very well trained in doing this kind of stuff.
Really?
But yeah. I used to do movie podcasts ages ago. I think it's still going on, but it's a different host now because I'm doing comedy. But I used to host one called It's a Wonderful Podcast with my pal Morgan from Manchester, where we'd only talk about movies from like pre-1960. And it just got too much to balance with comedy. But there's loads of that on there, but it's under my other pseudonym, as we discussed in the last episode. So
Nolan Dean.
yeah, because I didn't want to use my real name. I don't know if you know what my stage name was before, Darren, but
The Glasgow Kid.
Was it?
yeah.
He's
That's
not,
like a really shit wrestler.
although he lives in Renfrew and grew up in Dubai. So
You kind of look like a wrestler as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Like that stopped wrestling though.
I always thought you kind of looked like if Beetlejuice had a kid with Pat Butcher.
I'm noting all of these down because I need new appearance gags.
You know
But no, the whole story behind that is I called myself the Glasgow Kid because I was afraid of being myself on stage. And then just before Fringe, I got rid of it, and it was a lot better because I could talk about stuff that was actually happening in my life. It's not a funny story like when I go into why I called by it.
That's sad.
It's I know, but like you mention it every episode.
And if you bombed, you'd be the Glasgow Skid.
Jesus Christ.
If you were average, you'd be the Glasgow Mid.
Yeah, we've been through this. Yeah. Have you got any others, or is like...
No, I'll think of some.
All right, let's go back.
If you were on a yogurt, you'd be the Glasgow Lid. Okay, go on.
All right, the Glasgow Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Let's go. King of segues here, man.
They were going to call it the Crazy Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but they didn't want to start the abbreviation with 3 Ks. That would not have been progressive.
Nah.
Are you autistic as well?
I thought I was.
After this episode, I'm thinking he might be.
I'm like your brain's wired differently. In a good way though.
Thanks. I think
This is good fun. I'm enjoying this.
I think it's trauma.
All right, okay.
Well, it's funny. Like, see, when I met like Jack Trainer and Kyle, like when we started doing comedy, they slowly started getting more autistic from hanging out with me. So maybe maybe I'm contagious, is what I'm saying.
You're like a horror hero. You're demasking people.
You're a cool dude.
Oh, thanks, man.
You give off good vibes.
Oh, cheer. I really appreciate that. Thank you. You give off cool vibes as well, Darren.
Thank you.
Funny bunch vibes. Fucking love that night.
Thank you. I'll get you in
Oh, class. Yeah.
to work the door.
To be fair, I did that for Mark Black after opening for him like 6 months ago. So I'm happy to do it, man.
No, I'll get you in. I promise you. I promise you.
Yeah. So like, is there any other moments of this movie that stand out to you guys? It's like I'm drawing a blank here, honestly, with all the autism and wrestling comparisons.
It's still Mooney's death. You know, I've had lots of hands up my asses. No one ever made me talk.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's the name of the fucking officer, right? His name's Mooney. Yeah.
Mooney.
Although there is so this is a thing that made me just like this made my brain go into overdrive. This is a very autistic moment, admittedly. But when they're saying, where would the clown hide? In an amusement park. Now, if I was a clown, the amusement park is probably the last place I would hide because that's where everyone expects the clowns to be.
You know, for the first episode, he gave our guest a bell, which he would then ring if he thought Dean was being very autistic. And right now, I really fucking need a bell.
He does, man. Like, it's
Thinking outside the box.
yeah, because like, surely a clown would hide in a place where people don't think there's going to be clowns. You know, like when I was going to say in a McDonald's, but fucking Ronald.
But they're not clowns. They're aliens.
They're aliens that have taken on the form of. Have they taken on the form of clowns, or they just look kind of like clowns? I know it's a movie, so it doesn't fucking matter. Like we don't need to go into the deep dive Tolkien lore of these people, but
Form of clowns, I would say.
Huh?
But see, the thing is, you know how you were saying, it reminds me, it's nothing like, have you ever seen Basket Case?
no, I've not seen that.
It's another classic horror movie that if it was remade, I think would be amazing. It's about a brother that has a twin that's a freak that lives in a basket. And he ironically feeds it McDonald's. But it's like really cheesy shit acting, but it's an absolute cult classic.
Does he eat the toys?
He eats a lot of things. He eats people's faces.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it kind of reminded me of the 80s classic horror movie, you know, that cost like £1 million to make. It got £50 million at the box office. I kind of miss that, but you don't really get that with horrors anymore.
No, I mean, well, even like some of the newer horror that you get now, it's always like a 10 million budget, which when you look at it compared to like the most popular films that get made, it still makes horror like a cheap thing to make and then get a great return on investment on. But I don't know, I've always loved that about horror, that it's like, it's usually what you'll see a first time director doing because it's like cheap as hell to make and you get a great return on investment. Like, I think the first Saw cost something like $1 million to make, and it made $100 million.
Yeah.
So James Wan's making fucking bank, essentially.
It's always really annoying when you see like the shittest horror films. Like I think The Devil Inside, if you remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, that got like 100 million back after like $1 million budget, and it was fucking terrible. It didn't even have an ending.
It's because people will just go and watch a horror film, like especially if they're released in October. Like people are just going to be doing that.
Yeah, for every good horror film, there is about 10 absolute wank horror films.
There is a really good one out just now, actually, and they started out similar to us, actually. These guys were YouTube people just making like horror videos and stuff, and they've got this movie out now called Talk to Me.
Yeah.
Which I've recently seen it. It's fucking incredible. And that only costs like, I think, 1.1 million to make. And if it doesn't, I reckon it's going to go like Saw numbers. Like,
Really?
It's really fucking good. Like one of the most unique takes on possession horror I've ever seen.
Damn.
It was good fun. I went to see it. I went to see it in the cinema.
Yeah, man, they were actually saying like, you know how that Barbenheimer thing is like going around now? Should just make it a triple bill with Talk to Me and called Talk to Barbenheimer.
Jesus.
You'd be there for like 16 hours, man.
There's been times at the cinema where I've done that. When Aquaman and Into the Spider-Verse released on the same day, I was there for the whole fucking thing.
What is the most movies you guys have seen in a day in the cinema?
I think it must be between 2 to 3.
No.
I've definitely done a couple of doubles, but I can't remember if I've done 3. What about you?
6.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, I did Glasgow Fright Fest at last year's film festival, and holy fuck, my ass was killing me. I could not feel a thing. Like, did the Friday we had 5 films, and then on the Saturday we had 6, and it would always finish at like 1 a.m. when I couldn't get a single bus, and you would just see the worst parts of Glasgow. Like just casually seeing a guy walking down the street, just vomit all over the pavement and just casually walk away.
That's a regular Tuesday in Renfrew, Al. Unlike
thanks to you. No, yeah, it was actually pretty good. Actually, the guy there's a really good film coming out called Let the Wrong One In, which is like,
it's not the sequel to Let the Right One In, is it?
No, but it is it's a parody of that. Basically, if it was set on an Irish council estate.
Were they letting in the English? Like,
One thing I liked about that film is, you know how you watch a lot of Scottish films and the actors kind of talk like they're at a drama school? It will...
You can just say they're from Edinburgh, Alan.
Or it's like a Scottish person impersonating a Scottish person.
Aye.
Yeah.
Like, hello, I must go get my friend, and it's really unnatural.
Davy, I told you not to come down here.
Aye. Have the McGills been in? No, but because they had quite thick Irish accents, I said to him, if you ever, because the director was there, I was like, did you ever feel like you had to kind of change the accents to make it more widely accessible? And because I asked the best question, I wanted Dawn of the Dead box set. So go me.
Was it the original Dawn of the Dead?
It was.
Okay, good. Yeah, the good one. Actually, the Snyder one's all right, I think. I don't know. It's been ages ago since I've seen it, but I watched a lot of zombie movies during COVID, so...
I love how geeky this is. It's made me feel, I don't know, I feel nice. It's a good escape.
I think I could probably say this. I think I am the geekiest guy in Scottish comedy. I did have some, actually, we have some questions from listeners on here that are vaguely related to this.
What's the most films you've seen in a day?
Most films I've seen in a day? Like in the cinema? Or just like, okay, in the cinema it would probably be, I think it was 5. It was a sort of it was a Spider-Man marathon of first 3 Tobey Maguire and then the 2 Andrew Garfields right before I think Civil War came out.
Okay.
I was there for fucking ages, man.
I'll tell you, well, do you remember the others with Nicole Kidman?
I didn't see it.
The name rings a bell, yeah.
I seen that 7 times during summer
Jesus.
holidays once. By the 7th time, I was talking to myself, so I was just bored.
Was it? I'm trying to think. I think I've only seen film. The most I've seen the same film in the cinema has maybe been 4 times.
Yeah.
I think that was The Place Beyond the Pines, which is not a horror movie.
I enjoyed that.
It's very good, but it's not a horror film.
That's a good film.
Dane DeHaan is an underrated actor.
He is.
What about the man's... Do you ever watch, when you watch a film, you're like, I'm going to Google his diet plan? Who was the guy in it? Not the main guy. See the guy, he had an incredible fucking jawline. It wasn't
Ryan Gosling.
it wasn't him, it was the other guy.
Bradley Cooper.
No. The guy that's in Star Trek. He's like the new That's it.
He is a beautiful man, not gonna lie.
Yeah. I was just sitting there like a fucking slob. Like, I'm going to Google his jawline later on. With how to in brackets beside it.
Now you're catching gay off me, Darren. This is great. I mean, with what Kyle was wearing our last episode, I think he's definitely catching some of that as well. All those tattoos can't stop the gay man escaping his skin. Sorry, Piers. Yeah, go watch the roast of Silas Shabbox, and that's one of
Kyle
Pierce's
has
jokes.
a little tattoo of like a petal on his neck, but a lot of the time, like the shirt will kind of cover the bottom of it, so it does just look like a dickhead.
Yeah.
I've got a picture of it actually. Maybe we could edit it in.
There's a lot of brothels in this street as well, and I've never met Kyle before, so I was just like, oh, that's a guy walking out a brothel. Oh. No, it's not. That's a comedian. Okay. I thought he was a pimp.
A
crackhead pimp. I'm so sorry.
Well, this will challenge us right here. So this question came in, I'm pretty sure it's from one of Alan's friends, because it's fucking ridiculous. And I feel like it could link to this, actually, because we talked about Killer Klowns from wanting to get another movie later on. What is your stupidest pitch for a horror film, and does it involve vaginas? That's from your pal Eugene, I think.
No, but I did notice that when they turned a guy in the jail cell into cotton candy, it did just kind of look like a little clitoris in the corner. Not that I've seen one.
You ever had a pitch for a horror film that was really stupid?
And not about vaginas. I mean, I suppose that's
It'd be
any
very
film with
off-brand
vaginas
for
in it
you
for
to
me.
do that, to be honest. Unless you were pitching like a new Alien film. Like they always say that monster's kind of got like a sexual nature to it.
Plus, I've already made teeth.
Oh,
That'd be a true actor, though, if you did a film about vaginas. Because if it was about cock, you'd just be cheating. It'd be an easy shift.
Easy shaft.
Fuck. Why am I getting hard, man? Fucking hell.
I think the stupidest pitch I ever did for a horror movie, like this was way back when I was doing like film stuff. I think it actually did involve Nicolas Cage, funny enough, like because you mentioned Mandy. And we were on this like sort of movie fights kind of thing debate with like a bunch of other nerds. Like no surprise there for me really, but we had to pitch like a horror film that revitalized Nick Cage's career. I think it was like before he had his whole like Renaissance thing, and I pitched like this kind of Donnie Darko-esque psychological thriller where Nick Cage is playing a professional wrestler stuck inside a steel cage match, just going into his own head, and the title of it was called Caged.
For fuck's sake.
I would watch that. Plus, that actually sounds better than some of the films that he's done. Like, I would fucking watch that, man. That sounds good.
I was 17 and off my face on fucking Red Bull when I wrote it, so I don't know. I might dig that script out.
Yeah.
But you do a lot of writing yourself, don't you?
I do a lot of comedy writing regarding my stand-up, and recently I've jotted down some ideas for horror and short movies and short scripts, but I'm not that good a writer, to be honest. I'm going through an ADHD test as well, so I feel like I start off amazing, and then I'm like, fuck it. So I've got like 10 movies that I've started that I'm 5 pages in, and I'll probably get back to it eventually.
You could put all of them together and it could just be like an anthology.
Just a clusterfuck. Just like a night terror.
Wreck was good.
I've got a couple of ideas for things. I love movies. I love Scottish horror as well. There's one that I watched a couple of years ago called Monarch. That was a kind of low budget Scottish
Gonna have
horror.
to look that up. That sounds cool.
Is
it about the royal family and stuff?
It was about a family. In fact, yeah, kind of. They were inbreds, a family that lived in the hills. Kind of like the royal family. So yeah, I'd love to get into more writing, but yeah, my head's fried, man. I don't even have a fucking laptop or anything. So,
well, if you got approached to like just to bring it back to what we're talking about, if you got approached to do a new Killer Klowns movie, would you take it?
100%.
Set it in Scotland. It's just like, I don't know, what would fucking happen, I guess. Just this movie, but set in Sucky Hall Street.
A bunch of guys are back at a party flat after a night out. They all start taking drugs. They're in a high-rise, and the clowns invade the high-rise, and they're all out their tits and ecstasy and stuff, thinking that they're tripping.
Killer Klowns meets Attack the Block. I'm into it.
Yeah. Colour Clowns, Trongate.
There's a McDonald's there.
Great. Are we getting sponsored by McDonald's?
No.
No. I might try and eat the toys anyway.
It's probably better for you.
Probably.
Yeah.
Especially after how fucking sick I was last time. Oh, that's probably the diabetes.
Also, the fact that you had like 3 edibles on the train back the day before probably didn't help.
It didn't. I thought I'd try one. I thought, what harm will it do?
Should clarify, I was like, do you know of the Monkey Barrel free-for-all comedy night?
Yeah.
So we all did that one time and then took edibles on the train. And you know that time when people think like they can write good stuff when they're intoxicated? I tried to write some material during that, and all I could come up with it was being high would solve world hunger because it makes everything taste great.
Jesus Christ.
You ever looked at your phone? Do you take notes in your phone?
Yeah.
So you ever just randomly look at your notes and you're like, what the fuck? What is that? But at the time, it's like, oh my God.
Funnily enough, yes. There's a joke I do where it's about Spider-Man stuff. So I say like as a wee kid, I always wanted to be Spider-Man. I'm not heroic. I just fucking hated my uncle. Usually gets a big laugh. But I used to follow that up at the stand with it's amazing that the guy, Spider-Man's uncle, went on to invent rice, but makes sense when you think about it because with great power comes great rice sponsorability.
Oh my God. Oh my
When
God.
I wrote that, I thought I was a fucking genius. And it died on its arse at Red Raw, so I know never to use it again.
Do you know it's so cheesy? It did tickle me. It's so bad that it tickled me there. But aye, fuck it.
What? Yeah, because it got the first part of it, the Uncle Ben thing, got a huge laugh, and then I thought, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll go in and I'll do this. got the biggest groan I've ever had in my fucking career. Like, I felt like a fraud going off stage. I felt like, yeah, I might as well just walk off now. I know I've been here for like 3 minutes, but fuck it, I'll end it there. Yeah, I don't do that joke anymore, thankfully.
I do that for some of these podcasts because, like, again, for Tusk, I had one done for the like antagonist, and I just wrote White Cosby. And then for this, I've got Mullet Pedo. And I think that's the guy who was watching the puppet show.
Yeah.
The blonde mullet. And I thought it looked a bit pedo.
Shit, yeah, I'll give you that one, yeah.
Mullet Pedo.
That's not his character's name, but like...
That'd be a good horror movie.
Mullet
Pedo.
Jack Trainer, we might have a horror film for you in the works now.
Nicolas Cage. Mullet Pedo. What's the film about? He's just a pedo with a mullet.
Yeah, Paul, what time are we on? 50 minutes, okay, cool. All right. Alan, I know you didn't have any true or falses. Could we potentially make some up on the spot?
No. You discuss it, maybe. Well, do we have any more questions?
I did see some stuff about this that did surprise you. Like, the guy who was making it was mostly inspired. I think he was like, someone did a video essay on Killer Klowns, and it was like the idea that this kind of represents like I don't know. It was meant to like represent some war thing. Apparently, like, you know, new people coming to like a secluded town and fucking things up, but taking it to the most ridiculous level possible. That like, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's what I was getting at. Yeah, it was as if someone saw Invasion of the Body Snatchers and thought, let's make this as ridiculous as possible and see if we can make it more frightening. And it does have that kind of Body Snatchers feel to it. So. I don't know where I was going with this, but fuck it, yeah.
No, here I get it. I mean, it was like 4 people that wrote it though, wasn't it? They were all brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dyslexic, so I can't even fucking read my own writing. Chiodo.
Aye, Chiodo, that sounded right. I thought it was going to be Japanese.
No. Aye. That's just my dyslexia. Stephen, Charles, and Edward. I mean, it's not the concept is not the most original thing, but the fact that they kind of make it clowns and stuff makes it unique, I think.
Yeah. Well, I find that with a lot of originality in horror. It's like, I think pretty much almost every premise has been done.
Yeah.
So it's just about the way you got to execute it. Like Scream, which we did last week, if you pitch that, could be like, okay, yeah, I've seen this before. But the way it's executed, no, you haven't seen it before. The Cabin in the Woods is another thing. Like, I pitched that to my friends, like, to watch it, and they're like, yeah, I know what to expect. And then they see the ending and their mind's fucking blown.
Yeah. That is a good thing about horror, because there are so many tropes you can really play on that to kind of twist people's expectations. Well, watch out for Mullet Pedo. That's original. Apparently they had a budget of $2 million and it went primarily on production cost. Apparently the clowns and the visual effects were created at very little cost, which is quite surprising.
I do have another question here. We can bring it back from the last episode, because I feel like we should ask every guest this. We're going to bring back Dom's question. Shag, marry, kill, Freddy Krueger, Jason, or Michael Myers?
Well, I've already had a wank to Freddy.
So... Shag Freddy Krueger, fair enough. Man of your dreams.
Or marry him if it was that good.
Probably marry... don't marry someone with mummy issues. So, Jason's gone. Who was the other one?
Michael Myers.
He's got family issues as well, isn't he? Probably... I'd shag them all, aye. Fuck it. Shag them all.
If you do a Halloween edition of the Funny Bunch, that can just be the poster.
Shag
that's
them
our
all.
idea. Of course, you could just put the 3 of them in a human centipede and shag the back one, then you've done all 3 at once.
100%. Jesus. Yeah, and there he's done it again.
Isn't there like 5 versions of that film now?
3.
I've seen the first 2.
Yeah, I've never seen the third one, but they go for 500 people in a prison.
Yeah, and there's also a guy who, I think they said this in an interview, they want to try one where they're going to try and connect the entire world and solve world hunger and make the world's biggest centipede.
Oh,
I want to see that movie get made, but I don't know if I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Well, if it's the whole world, you'd have to be in it.
I've taken some weird extra jobs in my life. I don't think I'd go for that one.
I would. I'm not. I've been typecast. I'd do that 100%.
Class. What's the weirdest thing like you've been in like as an extra or something like that?
I was in a crime reconstruction for the Ice Cream Wars about gangland violence in Easterhouse back in the 70s, and I played a character called Fat Boy.
Oh,
And what? Yes, and the cameraman kept getting my name mixed up, so I was like, "Just call me Fat Boy, and I'll stay in character." There was no dialogue or anything. It was just I had to run past the camera like I was getting chased, and I fell on a mattress. So that was probably the weird thing. Apart from that, nah, nothing really. It's been all good fun.
script names can be so cruel. I remember seeing a thing online, and it was like hot girl, hot girl, hot girl, and then just girl. Like that poor cunt.
Do you know, I got really fit I've had times in my life that I've got really fit, and see during lockdown I was doing boxing training and I lost a lot of weight, and my agent sent me this audition for, what's that, it's like the French perfume that's the...
No, that's a hair thing.
It might have
Dior?
been Calvin Klein. You know, it's like the perfume bottle's like a sweater. It's like blue and white stripes.
Aye.
That's it. So the audition was like, we're looking for a muscular man that's well built, and we need to have him in his pants and with his top off. And this wasn't my main agent that sent me this. This was like one of the assistants. Now, I was feeling amazing, and I felt like I was looking well, but I had to phone her and be like, yeah, I'm not right for that advert. Like, I've lost 5 stone. I'm covered in stretch marks. I've got man boobs. I've got body dysmorphia. I don't really want to take my t-shirt off in front of everybody. And like, I'll be covering my tits with my hands. Like, they wanted me to like stand on top of a car and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm covered in stretch marks. And she was just like, all right, fair enough. So I never auditioned for it, but that was like the weirdest thing I've ever... Because straight away I was like, I need to take my feet... I'm not taking my socks off. My feet are fucked. You go through all sorts of crazy stuff. I'm like,
Oh, no wiki feet entry for you, Darren.
my feet are fucked.
Weirdest thing, I got offered this thing recently, actually. You know that show In for a Penny off ITV?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so the whole thing was they were wanting people with crazy hairstyles for like a section on it. They were filming in Glasgow, and for the audition tape, they made me wrap my head in a towel, introduce myself like all playful and funny, and then reveal my hair like I'm on fucking Stars in Their Eyes or some shit.
Wouldn't that fuck up your hair?
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. Like, this doesn't just happen. It's like, this is like half an hour of blow drying and like conditioner.
Mullet pedo. As soon as you take the towel off.
Yeah,
Your hair's not that mad.
Yeah, it's it's like today I've just let it air dry and do its own thing, but
Yeah, but it's like, it's not mad enough to be like on a show. Like, it's just a normal hair.
pretty much, yeah. I don't know why they wanted me for it, but
Yeah.
that could be why they said, actually, we don't need you anymore.
Well, sometimes it is a lot more, pardon the pun, poofy.
Yeah, that's when I can't be fucked like blow drying it. Yeah, that was probably my weirdest audition. Like, Alan, you ever done any extra stuff?
No.
Okay, cool. Let's move on then. So we have a section on here where we talk about like the best kill in this. Like, what do you reckon would be the best kill from this movie?
It's got to be Mooney, I think. Oh, again, cream pie to death is just kind of funny for the joke itself. But not that. See, I have a list of them. Well, I did stop recording the ones where they were just killed with ray guns. But I mean, I think Mooney's is the only one that's genuinely horrific when he pulls the hand out of him and it's covered in blood.
Mm-hmm.
That is fucking disgusting. What would you say, Darren?
Do you know what? It has to be the head getting punched off after.
That too.
because it was just the guy that got his head punched off. His acting was so corny. I just found the full scene so cheesy, and the kind of dance that the clown was doing, the boxing stance.
Aye.
I just found it so funny.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think this is the first one where we're all going to have different ones, because I think the cream pie to death thing and then the skeleton just showing up within it is very unsettling. You know, it reminded me of like, any of you seen the 80s remake of The Blob?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I mean, spoilers for this, but we will cover it, but there's a scene in it that's quite infamous for having like I think it's like a 13-year-old kid or something dissolves in the fucking blob and you see his bloody mangled skeleton, and it reminded me of that kind of stuff, and I enjoy that kind of 80s horror.
Nice.
It's kind of stuff that you don't see anymore. Like I think the
Melted
last
children.
Well, yeah, I think the last kid death that we had in a horror film was it was either Hereditary or Georgie from the new It. And even then, it doesn't stick with me as much as something like that.
Yeah. Hereditary was a pretty grim death for the kid.
Yeah, it was very grim, but like
It's not until Lucia.
it's a different kind of vibe. Like that death's supposed to unsettle you, whereas like in like this or The Blob, it's like it's unsettling you, but it's kind of in a fun fair house kind of way. Like, holy shit, look at this fucking thing.
I don't know how when I watched Hereditary, I totally missed that. Like the thing with the heat. And then it just showed up in the ground. I'm like, what the fuck happened? And again, waiting for that ADHD test. But I don't know. I was like, was she fucking gone mad about? And then just had to rewind it.
Oh, well, no need to lose your head over it, Alan. So I think that'll more or less wrap us up. So how many big pumpkins are we giving this out of 5, boys?
I'll give it 3.5 big pumpkins.
I'm gonna go 4. I think it's very unique. It knows exactly what it is, and I think like it's not a perfect movie, but the way I describe perfect movies is it the best version of what it's trying to be? And this is a pretty good version of it. So.
Does it have a bunch of people sewn together as to mouth? Darren?
Doesn't work if you try and force it in, Alan. Ironically, because you're talking about the fucking human centipede. But like,
I'd give it a 4.5. I'll give it a 4.5. I watched it during lockdown when I was in a low place, and I was like, this is why I love movies. The silliness of it and just everything about it.
I think that'll more or less wrap us up. Darren, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great having you. We'll have you back for other horror films if you ever find yourself.
I won't be back. I won't be back.
Where can people find you as if you aren't bigger than this podcast?
I don't want to come back. No, that was a joke. I've loved this, by the way. I've absolutely loved this. It's been great chat and good fun. If anybody would want to find me, I'm just Darren Connell on Facebook. My podcast is Straight White Whale. My Twitter is Darren Connell87. So, yeah, you can add me if you want.
Yep, and if you are looking for something to do in Glasgow, Darren Connell and the Funny Bunch, which I think it's at Blackfriars now, right?
Yes, Blackfriars.
Yeah, it's a very fun night. I've been to it a couple of times. Always a good set of comedians on, and Darren is a fucking incredible host, so definitely go check that out. Alan, where can we find you? Alan J Comedy, that's JAY on Instagram, TikTok, and basically all the things that fucking matter. And
in a park somewhere.
Definitely in a park somewhere.
3 a.m.
Funnily enough, I was walking through a park and got pulled up by the police once, and I was like, yeah, I'm not here for dick, just leave me alone, bye. Seems to work fine. So, there you go.
Did you have your pants around your ankles?
No, usually.
I'm sorry, I'm like just living through a fucking sexual urge here. Can we cut that out?
Hey, there's a good idea for a video, taking straight guys to cruising grounds.
Yeah.
Like a safari. Like, don't touch, just watch. In fact, I remember there is a dogging scene in this. No, there's not. There's like a place that looks like it's for dogging, but then there's like an ice cream van that comes up to it. And I remember I got taken on a date to a place with a really nice view, but I thought it was for dogging because I looked at the car next to us and it was just steamy windows and a bunch of flesh moving. I didn't even get to cop a feel.
That's why I don't go on caravan trips anymore, you know. Like,
So, Dean, what dogging spot can we find you?
in Renfrew, so like all of them are docking spots. So, but you can find me at Dean T Byrne. That's BEIRNE, pretty much everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and you can find this at BS Fears Pod and Blood, Sweat, and Fears Pod on all the social medias. This has been a great fucking episode, Darren. Once again, thanks so much for coming on, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.